Hi everyone, welcome to Must Read Monday. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian with the Twin Lakes Libraries and I use they, them pronouns. So as you all know, February is Black History Month, so today I'm focusing on 3 books I read dealing with Black history, Black culture, that are by Black authors. So these are books I read this weekend, so it's all extremely fresh in my mind, which is great. But before we get started, I just wanted to tell you about a couple things that are happening at the library. One is we are making a Black History Month quilt. So we have different figures from Black history and culture, some who have passed on, some who are still with us, and we are coloring them. So we've got an image of the person, their name, and then their biography. So we're coloring all of these. I think we have over 80 people represented, and then we're going to put our colored pieces together and make a quilt. And so this quilt is going to be in the teen room at the Mary Vincent Memorial Library. So I am hopefully going to start putting up the first pieces of the quilt today, so you can check it out then. You can pick up coloring sheets at the Hancock branch or the Mary Vincent. And we ask that either you color them in the library so we can put them up, or if you take them home and color them, you bring them back so we can put them up. That would be amazing. The other thing is we're still doing the teen book box, which I will have a link for where you sign up in the video notes. This is something that's been going on for probably over a year now. I'm like, when did we start this? And this is basically where you fill out a form, I pick out a library book for you to read, and then you read the book. There's a card inside you fill out. The box also has other items, like fun bookish items and some snacks, so it kind of gives you this subscription box experience with your library book. So you read the book, fill out the card, and then you return the box, the book, and the card. And that's it, and you keep everything else. So this month, I'm going to be focusing on Black authors. So if you fill out your form and you say oh, I want a fantasy book, I want contemporary romance, historical, sci-fi, horror, whatever, then you'll get that genre, and it's going to be by a Black author. So please do submit some requests for that, because filling those boxes are one of my favorite things to do. Okay, so now moving on to the books. These are all nonfiction, in the nonfiction collection at the Hancock branch. First up, I listened to Revolution in Our Time, The Black Panther Party's Promise to the People by Kekla Magoon. And this one, okay, so full disclosure, I knew very, very little about the Black Panther Party before I read this book. I had history classes in high school. We covered the civil rights movement. The Black Panthers were maybe mentioned a little bit, and yeah, since then, I don't know, I've kind of come across them in other books and media, but never an extensive history or anything like that. So I learned a ton. I listened to the audiobook on Libby, which I highly recommend. It was very good. And, one thing that was really amazing to me reading, listening to this book, is how young so many of the people who were involved with the party, who started the party, were. One thing they mentioned a lot is that the median age, so kind of the average age, was 19. So you have tons of young people, of teenagers. One of the first members they talk about in the book was 16 years old when he joined up, and I'm just so this book, it is about the history of the Black Panthers, but one thing the author kind of talks about, especially at the end, is just, the power of young people to make change. And honestly, this book, it was it was enlightening, it was inspiring, it was enraging, particularly as I was learning more about how the police and the U.S. government, the FBI, were like directly targeting the Black Panthers and other civil rights leaders to take them down, to silence them, doing things like spying on them, sowing discord with the people in the party, like sending false letters. You know, they're like, oh, they're like pretending to be someone in the party. They're sending false information out, you know, against U.S. citizens. And one thing they talk about too is how like the Black Panthers were very aware of the law, and you know, that was a thing too. Like everyone kind of like had all these rules to be a member, and part of it is like, you know, having like political education and historical education. Like the members were being educated. They had a reading list of books to read, of like different works that helped inspire like the movement. Lots of conversation and debate, and as well as, you know, lots of community programs, which I thought was like so cool. Everything they were doing to help their community and to make changes. It was just honestly amazing. So yes, definitely check this out, because I feel like it's a part of Black history that, you know, you might not learn very much about in school, and it's important, and it still very much resonates today. The things the Panthers were fighting for then are things that are still being fought for now. So, highly, highly, highly recommend this book. Next, have a couple books of poetry. First, we have Inheritance by Elizabeth Acevedo, with illustrations by Andrea Pippins. So I'll just read from the back. In her most famous spoken word poem, award-winning author and poet Elizabeth Acevedo celebrates the beauty and meaning of natural black hair. Her words vibrantly illustrated by artist Andrea Pippins. This powerful book embraces all the complexities of Afro-Latinidad, the history, pain, pride, and powerful love of that inheritance. So I will link a video of Elizabeth Acevedo speaking her poem. It's was like originally known as called Hair. So if you listen to that and then read this, you'll notice there's some changes in the words in the book. But I listened to it kind of a couple times to just get a feel of the rhythm and the voice, and then went and read this through a couple times. And it is very powerful, and something like I'm still, you know, kind of thinking about, because I feel like for me, with art and poetry, it's not something like I'm just gonna get, you know? And also, like, I'm very much outside of this experience. Like, all of this was kind of not something that I experienced, so it's definitely was like a learning, eye-opening poem, and lots to think about. So, and it's very short, so yes, you can just come read it while you're at the library, check it out, take it home. Okay, and then we have Ain't Burned All the Bright. This is by Jason Reynolds with art by Jason Griffin. And I'll read you the little part here. Jason Reynolds using 3 long sentences, and Jason Griffin using 300 pages of a pocket-sized moleskin have mind-melded this fierce, vulnerable, brilliant, terrifying what is wrong with humans, hope-filled, hopeful, tender, heartbreaking, heart-making manifesto on what it means not to be able to breathe, and how the people and things at your fingertips are actually the oxygen you need most. And they say at the beginning of the book in their dedication, for everyone we lost and everything we learned in the strangest year of our lives, 2020. Which, you know, we're talking about Black History Month, and some people think, oh, this is just in the past, like, after the civil rights movement, like, you know, what is there? Not, like, I don't think that, but that's things, like, I've heard people say. And no, Black history continues. And 2020 was, like, a very, like, as I said, extremely strange year, a very important year, and a very, you know, like, one of those times when you're like, yes, I am living history. This stuff is happening. So this book focuses on, you know, the creator's experiences during this time, especially focusing around the news cycle, you know, being stuck in your house, continually being fed this news cycle of not only just everything happening with COVID, but also all of the protests surrounding the murder of George Floyd that happened throughout the country and around the world. So they, you know, are experiencing these things, writing about these things, and it's so well done. I'm probably gonna, like, read through it again. So I read it last night, and definitely, like, it's a, you know, this is a large looking book, but, like, you know, don't be intimidated, because it's actually, like, as far as words, very short. Like I said, 3 long sentences and illustrations to go with it. And so I read it last night. I listened to the audiobook of it this morning, which I feel like it was like maybe 11 minutes long, just because I wanted to hear it in the author's voice too. And yeah, it's definitely very relatable, but also something I'm still, like, gonna be, like, thinking about and working through. So these are my selections. So again, you can check them out here at the Hancock branch, and I'll have more information in the video notes, like if they're available on other you know, ebook, audiobook platforms where you can find them. But I hope y'all have a great week, and please come by and see us at the library. Talk to you later. Bye.